Hi everyone, and welcome to this time lapse of my recent painting of a wire-haired dog. Next month on Patreon, I'm going to release a full-length tutorial on this, showing really in-depth how I achieve this type of fur. But I hope that you enjoy this quick overview in speed painting, and if you haven't already, do subscribe here on YouTube for all my future videos, and check out the rest of my channel for some free full-length tutorials there also. So enjoy the video. This project is on pastel matte paper with a range of different soft pastels. So I begin using some of the pan pastels and the sponge applicators, mostly using their black just to block in some of the darkness behind the dog. Now, I decided to keep the background that was in the photo reference this time. Quite often I change my backgrounds, and I played on Photoshop for quite a long time with this one, with different colours, different gradients, all sorts of ideas, and nothing really set the dog off quite as nicely as the dark background that was already there. And I also liked the little hint of some fabrics, or it could be magazines. I'm not actually too sure what it is at the top of the piece, but I quite liked just a little hint of something going on back there, and the colours also, as I wanted to bring some of those colours into the dog's coat. So after much deliberation, I decided to go with the photo reference as it was, and I begin work on the dog, blocking in some of the darker, large areas. But you'll notice that on the rest of the dog, I work in quite small areas at a time, building up the layers from dark to light. And it's mostly the soft pastels I'm using at this stage. I want to get loads of lovely soft pigment onto the paper so that it starts to all blend and move nicely. So there's a risk of oversaturating paper. You don't want to do that, as all your colours will start to muddy up. But on many of the good pastel papers which accept lots of layers of pastel, you really need to get a few layers down on the paper before it'll start to move nicely and blend for you. So I know a lot of people struggle in the early layers of a painting. It's usually very off-putting to have it look so messy. But I work quite differently on this type of fur in particular. Often I'll block in areas a lot more, but I find on this shorter, wiry type of fur, it works really well to build up the areas gradually using those same short marks. So I don't run the risk of oversaturating the paper with one big ground layer. And I use lots and lots of layers of small marks, which in the end gives that lovely depth to the fur, makes it really realistic and thick. And I'm also using some pastel pencil, as you can see, just to flick the ends of those hairs out. On pastel matte paper, you can use quite a lot of pastel pencil to neaten up what you've done. I always like to come in with the soft pastels first though, as they give real strength of colour, and then I can use my pastel pencils more to tweak things into place and add those extra finer details. I'm beginning to really love pastel matte paper for this type of portrait. When I see a dog's face now with a lot of detail on it, or a wiry type of fur, I'm instantly thinking that perhaps I could achieve that much better with the pastel matte. I find that I'm a little less painterly on pastel matte though. I tend to get very bogged down in minor details. I definitely did with this piece. They tend to take me a bit longer. And I have to say, I actually prefer painting a little looser, and the velour allows me to do that. But sometimes there is a particular portrait where this level of detail really is called for, and I definitely thought that with this piece. Just such a beautiful face and so many patterns and colours of fur. So I really thought that pastel matte was the best paper for capturing this dog. But at the moment I'm working on a big piece with a West Highland Terrier, And there's lots of flowers and background and flower pots. And I'm back on my trusty velour, Hanimal velour paper for that one. So it's nice to be able to switch between different papers when your different jobs require it. And I'm certainly looking at experimenting with a lot of the other pastel papers on the market this year. And hopefully I'll do some review videos on those and let you know how they compare to the ones that I already like. And I've already started doing this with a lot of the pastel brands themselves. I've got a few unboxing videos and review videos of soft pastels. And I'm at the moment working my way through trying out every pastel brand I can get my hands on. So I'm really enjoying that. I'm enjoying seeing all the different types of pastel and the different ways that I can incorporate them into my art. And even with the pan pastels, which was a recent addition to my tools, I've found that the little blenders that come with them have come in so useful in so many other ways. And especially on pastel map paper, where sometimes you can get so much detail that you lose the overall softness. But it does accept a wonderful number of layers of pastel, which is why I think it's probably one of the better papers to first try pastel on. It lets you do so much more than some of the cheaper pastel paper brands, or if you're trying out pastel on paper that wasn't manufactured for pastel, then you might be having some problems where you can't apply lighter layers cleanly on top of dark layers, and that's something that you need to do all the time when painting. Similar to an oil painting, you're working ideally from dark to light, so you need a good paper that will allow you to apply fresh, lighter layers on top of the dark areas. And you can see that I've had to do that a lot in this piece. So I hope you find this helpful. I give lots of tips in my longer tutorials over on Patreon, but if you haven't already subscribed here on YouTube, please do for all my future content, and thanks so much for watching. Until next time, happy pasteling.